show of hands, how many of you played at least one sport in your life, whether it be soccer, basketball, or dance, or anything like that? Okay, now how many of you, when you're playing that sport, it made you feel really good about yourself and just overall just made you feel really happy? This is common because it has been proven that sports has the power to boost your mood and also increase self-confidence. To a lot of people, their mental health is very important, especially to athletes. Some people work out to relieve stress, and some people work out just to overall make them feel better. However, not a lot of people know why exercising, working out, or playing a sport makes them feel better. What happens when we work out is it positively impacts the serotonin level in your body, and it releases those endorphins known as the body's happy chemicals. Another thing that happens is it decreases your stress levels, and it releases the stress hormone called cortisol, which makes you feel less stress. Sometimes just the act of doing something that consumes your attention can make you forget about those negative thoughts or forget about the thing that was making you feel stressed and just make you feel less stressed. And then the act of working out in general will stimulate the neurotransmitter called norepinephrine, and that is what improves your mood. Most athletes that have developed a athletic skill will feel more positively in their own bodies and just feel better about themselves. So not only does it improve your mood and decrease stress, it also helps with your self-esteem and just overall self-confidence. The Newport Academy Canadian study showed that students who played sports in grades 8 through 12 had less stress as a young adult. So the ones that didn't play in school, it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have stress. It's just proven that if they play team sports in school, they have less stress as a young adult. So they took 850 students from 10 different Canadian schools, and they surveyed them on their participation in school sports. After 3 years, they gave them a follow-up survey, and they asked them how many depressive symptoms, or are you feeling any depressive symptoms in your everyday life, how much stress is in your life, and then they asked them to rate their mental health on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being poor and 5 being excellent. They found that students that participated in those school sports had less stress than the ones that did not. So the British Journal of Sports Medicine also did a study, and they took former Swedish elite power athletes, so the athletes that competed in like Olympic powerlifting or things like shot put and discus, sports like that, power sports like that. And then they did a 30-year follow-up on them to see on those athletes that had a past of anabolic androgenic steroid use. So they were trying to investigate whether their AAS use had an effect on their mental health. So they took their previous socio-demographic data, they took their sports activity, and then they took their overall substance abuse, and then they did the overall 30-year follow-up on them. And then they found that 20% admitted that they used AAS, anabolic androgenic steroids, and then the ones that did take the steroids sought out more professional expertise about their mental health. They also found that those athletes that did take the AAS drug had more, they also did additional illegal drugs along with the AAS. And so there's a clear relationship between those athletes that did take the AAS drug and the athletes that did not take the AAS drug, anabolic androgenic steroid. So there's a clear difference between that the athletes that did take it had a bad result on their mental health, and the ones that didn't have really an effect on their mental health. So in the end, if you trust your athletic ability and exercising and participating in sports, it'll have an overall effect positive effect on your mood, your sleep, it'll decrease your stress, and it'll increase your overall self-confidence and self-esteem. But if you do drugs on top of that, it overall has been proven that it affects your mental health in a negative way. So don't do drugs and have self-confidence.